Hey guys, day 18. I can tell you about what drugs has done to me again, but if you've been watching my videos, you know, I can tell you about different kinds of drugs and stuff like that. But what it was brought to my attention from a friend of mine about legal, illegal drugs. Let me clear that up. The synthetic marijuana, spice stuff that you smoke, what that is, done a little research, what that is. It's natural herbs that they're spraying with chemicals that imitates the effects of marijuana. And the high that you get off of it is called acute psychosis. Psychosis is a mental state that you get in. It's kind of like being psychotic for just a little bit. However long it takes for the drugs to wear off, you're going to experience acute psychosis. If you already have a mental state, a mental problem, it can cause chronic psychosis. And the difference between acute and chronic: acute is short term, chronic is long term. That means that you're going to go on a trip that it's going to last a while and you may not come back off of it. It's put a lot of people in a bad place. How can I explain this? It's going to make you go crazy. Not going to, it can make you go crazy. Let me clear that up. It affects everybody different, just like any other drug. But if you suffer from a mental problem, it can cause permanent psychosis. And that's nowhere anyone wants to be, because you're no longer you. You no longer function right. You no longer think right. The psychosis, from my understanding, is hallucinations, voices in your head, explosive disorders where you want to just go postal on everybody. And that does not sound like a place that I want to be. You're going to spend probably the rest of your life in a mental hospital or state institution somewhere. It's kind of like jail. You're hung. No, that's just crazy, man. Any kind of chemical that puts you in a state of mind like that, mushrooms, acid, a lot of your narcotics is kind of like it. Your nerve pills put you in a place that kind of like a psychotic state, and you won't remember it. I mean, you will go blank, and that's not a life, people. And the synthetic marijuana is so abundant. They'll sell it to your kids. It doesn't matter. They call it, incense, whatever. The government's cracking down on it, and it's a good thing. They've made it a Schedule 1 narcotic. It's illegal to possess, sell, buy, or use. That's a good thing, because it's destroyed a lot of people. No, I'm not going to tell on anybody. Don't get me wrong. I am no rat. Far from it. But don't subject your children to that drug. If you see them with that, it would not be good if it was my kid. It's an evil drug. Then you've got your stuff they call bath salts. Okay, it's synthetic meth or cocaine kind of deal. And again, it's a mixture of deadly chemicals that they've made into a salt-like substance. They call it the zombie drug, and they call it that for a reason, people. It's going to make you into a zombie. I mean, and then again, it takes you back to the acute psychosis and the chronic psychosis. People snort it, eat it, inject it, smoke it. It's just, they do it the same way they do, regular drugs. And I've seen the effects of this. And guys, you do not want to subject yourself to this drug. I know you've seen, news articles and specials on these drugs, on the synthetic marijuana and the bath salt. But until you experience that face to face for yourself, you don't. They kind of sugarcoat it in the news. They really do. You will go retarded on this stuff. Excuse my language. It makes you go crazy. As long as the drug's in your system, you're gonna act bad. You'll see things. Psychosis. See things. Talk to people. Hallucinate. The same thing. You go way out you're out there on a spaceship somewhere. And then again, it also states it is a poisonous substance. It can kill you. It does basically the same thing as meth or cocaine. You get you hooked right off the bat. Sleeplessness, irritability. It freaks a lot of people out. You'll barricade your doors thinking someone's coming in on you, and there's not a soul around. You think people are talking about you behind your back, but there's no one around. You experience a lot of crazy thoughts and hallucinations. And again, it's just as available as the synthetic marijuana. They usually sell it hand in hand. And your kids, they're smart to this. They know about it. The word gets around in schools pretty quick. It did when I was in school, and I'm sure that it's not changed on that. If you see one kid doing it, then they got their buddies doing it, and then their buddies doing it, and then it spreads like a disease, and then you've got a bad problem on you. You've got an epidemic. And that's not a good thing in these schools. The kids, they learn from us. They learn from what we do, who we hang out with, the crowds we keep. They learn from us. And if we don't set a good example for our kids, teach them right from wrong, they're going to follow our steps, follow the same path, make the same mistake, in the same way. And there's not a parent out there that I can think of that wants their children to end up like this, to end up a convicted felon, to end up doing time in a prison or even a little jail. Nobody wants their kids to experience that. My mother and father didn't, and they beat it into my head, but I was too stubborn to take their advice. I had to learn on my own. I was too daggone smart for them. Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's what everybody thinks, and then you screw up and you end up being the person you hated growing up, being the person that nobody wanted to be. A lot of my fellow classmates are surprised and shocked about what I've been through, about what I've done, about what I've become. But on the other hand, they're surprised that I actually stood up and making a stand against this and telling people my story through my eyes, my shoes. There's no one going to be able to tell you these stories, to tell you the experience, like someone that has lived it, especially for 16 years. I know there's people been out there longer than that on drugs, shorter than that on drugs, and they've got the same experience. I have gained a lot of knowledge over the years of what to do and what not to do, and I'm just trying to share that with you to make you hip on what's going on, to make you realize what's going on around you, to get your help on kicking this disease in the butt. A lot of people have come to me for advice on Facebook and emails. Got a very good friend. She talks to me on the daily, and she has helped me so much. I'm not going to say no names because I don't want to embarrass nobody or whatever, but she's the sweetest little thing ever was, and I thank you. You do keep me occupied, and you do wonders. Thank you very much, girl. But just wanted to touch bases on these synthetic drugs that you may or may not be aware of. That could be right next door. But inform your kids of the dangers. Let them watch this video. I try not to be too graphic, but I don't sugarcoat and I don't lie. But if let them watch the video. Let them see where it's took me. Nobody wants to be there, and I know you don't want your children to be there. But God love, God bless. See you tomorrow.